Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everyone. Welcome to Get Her Hired and to this week's Undeniable session. This week, we're talking all about how easy apply is not what you think it is, how so many people struggle in the job search, and what to do differently. And we at Get Her Hired, we're on a mission to help 10,000 women, thems, and cool men land their next boss roles. So we're really happy you're here today. I want to just give you a little bit of information on how this works. Got a little bit to talk through. We're going to have some tools and documents to share with you through the chat. So if you're on a computer, you can download and get right to work here. We're a very action oriented company. We don't want anyone to have to wait for anything. So especially not when it comes to job searching. So we're going to get right into work here on some things today. If you don't or can't download items today, don't worry. Jonathan, our operations coordinator, will be sending a follow-up with all of the information, including links to our YouTube channel where this will be reposted and the documents that she shares. So if you've registered, you'll be receiving that afterwards. For today, everybody is anonymous. Okay. The only people who you know the name of are me, Kate Wade, and Jonathan Briones. She is our operations coordinator. Otherwise, you're all anonymous. So you can ask any questions in the chat. You can use the Q&A function. You can use the raise hand function. Any of those things work. We will not say your name out loud because we know that often there's discretion and confidentiality involved in these searches. So you can ask all your dumb questions, okay, with zero, zero worry here. It's what we're here for. We want to make sure everyone feels confident, shoulders back, tits up as we go out there in the world and search for jobs because we need it. It's, gosh, I mean, the market, of course, is insane. But there's good movement. So I want to make sure that you know that too, that what I'm seeing is there is movement and there is opportunity. So right now I am trying to start my slide show and why, of course. Oh, there we go. Okay. Got it. Don't worry, you guys. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry here. Um, Okay, so I'm going to share here. Um, Now I'm hoping you can see the full screen and not just my preview screen. So hopefully you can see that. Jonathan, please watch for any notes, love notes or questions down in the chat, and we'll get to those as we go. So I was doing some thinking in the last few weeks, and we meet with hundreds of clients a year, and sometimes people come to us and they've done a lot of searching, and it really doesn't come down to the volume that some people think it needs to be. And there's really a wonderful place where just 2 additional interviews a month will make a difference in your search. So if you think about that right now, like some people are like, oh my God, I have to have 10 interviews a month, or people are coming to us and they say, I've got no interviews and I just don't even know how I'm going to get one. The truth is, if you add 2 to no matter where you are right now, so if you're getting 2 interviews a month, if you add 2 more, great shape. If you have 0 interviews so far a month, adding 2 more is really going to help you wherever you're at. Okay. So, what we're covering today is what we hear from clients when searches stall, because this is very normal. Searches stall. And it's especially normal because most people we work with are probably Gen X, maybe cusping into millennial. And our backgrounds and what we do, we didn't have to apply to roles like we have to now. We didn't have to network previously, and now we do. And so it's a little more complicated and frustrating sometimes when the system looks a little different than what we're used to. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to give you our 4 channel find framework, the exact framework we use with our clients. I'll show you a strategy example, and this is a real example, but I've anonymized it, of course, because confidentiality. So this person's name is Lois Lane. Names may have been changed. And then we'll get into some Q&A and some discussion about how to do this moving forward. Before I go forward, I just want to stop sharing and see if there are any questions here. Oh, thank you. Wonderful. Okay, so Jonathan already warmed up the comment area. So if anyone wants to ask a question as we go, you are welcome, welcome, welcome to do so. All right, let's keep going here. All right. I think that's what I do. Okay. So what we want you to do is walk away from here today with a smaller or smart, well, it is smaller, a smarter weekly rhythm of how to approach your search, not just more things to do. Okay, we don't want to give you an overwhelm, because we all are overwhelmed with advice. And if you're feeling overwhelmed with advice, book a call with us, okay? Because I think there are really great pieces of advice out there, but I also find that if you're an executive with 15, 20, 25 years of experience, some of the advice that's out there isn't applicable at your level. It's can sometimes be more for that individual contributor. Some of the advice is for people right out of college. But if you don't know how to discern that advice, it's difficult to understand how it applies to you. So if you're wondering if that advice you're hearing works for someone in your situation, set up a call with us, because we can talk about it, and we can talk about it today in our Q&A when we get to it. So here's some patterns that we hear before a search finally gets some traction. We hear, I've applied to 50 jobs and heard nothing. I'm doing spray and pray method. My background's strong, but I don't know how to tie it together. And maybe you can relate to these, right? So what we're seeing here is some people are really confused because they're not getting anything back. So if that's you, you're in the right place. If you are just applying everywhere, like I talked to a client yesterday, and I said to her, hey, we're not desperate. Okay. What we're trying to do is find the right thing for you next. You have a job right now. Let's not apply for things that are outside of what you've talked about wanting to do and align with your next part of your life. So let's not apply to what was she looking at? Like a customer success role at a B2B SaaS company, when she really wants to work in femtech, med tech for women, right? And so no, don't don't apply. Yes, you can do that other job, but let's not spray and pray. And then sometimes people's backgrounds are really strong. This is actually what we find so often, is that the background is strong, but people just don't know how to tie it together into that cohesive story. So usually we're seeing people are relying too much on posted roles. They're not doing it. They're basically relying only on the find feature of our four channeled framework. Okay. They're not inquiring, they're not networking, they're not doing the dreaming. They don't really have any rhythm or tracker, and their materials may be good, but the search process might be too narrow. And we'll talk a little bit more about this as we go forward. I'm going to stop here for a moment, just check and see if we have any questions. Not yet. Okay. If you have any questions as they come along, please add them right in, and we'll get to them as appropriate in here. So I want to check and see with you all who are here today, which best describes your current job search. Let's see. Are you it's emotionally expensive? We're getting some answers here. Busy, ineffective, a part-time job I did not apply for, strategic and actually moving. So how do you feel about your current job search right now? It sounds you guys are like carrying a load here. Okay, emotional and expensive. All right. So I'll show you all what you're all having in common here. Okay. So if any of you were feeling like, ugh, I'm the only one who feels this way, you're not. Don't worry. You're in the right place. Just gonna send a quick love note. Okay, there we go. So let's ask you another question. All right. What is the most offensive part of your search right now? Is it like this really bothers you, right? Is it I'm not finding the right roles? Am I not getting interviews? Am I explaining my background clearly? I'm doing all this work and hearing absolutely nothing. Yes, ghosting is real. Ghost roles are real. And we have some strategies on that as well to help you ensure that you're taking, the energy you are spending is actually in the right places. Okay, so here's what we had to share, what people had to share here. The things that are really bothering them are being able to find the right roles, hearing nothing, not sure about explaining their background. Okay, we had a question come in, and thank you for doing this. And anyone at any time can submit a question here. So we got a question in the chat from someone saying, what is a reasonable response rate when applying to positions in this market? 20%, 5%, 1. How do you benchmark if your approach is not working? This is a really great question. Thank you for asking it. So I would say that if your approach is mostly applying to open roles that are posted, and I'm not sure what type of role or industry or function this person's in who asked this question, but if you're applying to roles that are posted, you are competing typically against 1,000 other people. Let's say if it's something that's posted on LinkedIn. And so, a response rate is going to be very low if that is all you're depending upon. So if what your approach is to see a role and then do an apply through LinkedIn, I would say very low response rate. Your response rate gets a little bit higher when you go to the company's website and apply to the job through the website. So if you can do that, that will save you a lot of heartache because you can see, is the job actually posted or is it a ghost job, right? Is it like a leftover from the algorithm from 3 weeks ago that it's stale in the back of the refrigerator, right? So if you go to the company site, you're going to see, is that job for real? And then applying through there. But I want you to think about this to the person who asked the question and to all of you here. We really feel like you need a meet and three approach. So if you've ever been in the South or you're a barbecue person, we like to have like your ribs or your barbecue chicken and then three sides. Okay. So consider your application to be your meat. All right. And then apologies to any vegetarians here. You can have tofu as your meat. All right. But then you need three sides. You're going to need the mac and cheese. You want to have the coleslaw and give me the beans, please. Right. And so these three other areas, that's what we're going to continue talking about today. And when we use these three other areas, the response rate percentage goes up. So that's a really good question. And so therefore, don't just be looking for roles that are posted. And so we'll get into that. We'll get into that shortly here. I'm going to ask another question. How are you finding jobs right now? Do you have a clear process? Are you looking at job boards? Are you panicking? Are you just like looking at notifications that come into your that flash up on your phone in the morning at 6 a.m. when you wake up? So what are people doing here? It sounds like people are looking through job boards and occasional networking. Okay, so that's good. That's good. It sounds like you're taking good activities and now let's make them even more effective, right? Let's optimize the time you're using. That's great. Okay, next question. Which of these feels most true? I know what I want. I just need traction. I'm qualified, but my search feels messy. I'm doing a lot, not feeling movement. I'm one more rejection away from becoming a candle person. And no offense, I have a sister who's a candle person. She makes candles. So she's also a potter now. So if you need any custom pottery or custom candles, let me know. I can hook you up. All right. So just not getting traction. The search feels a little messy, just not seeing movement. Okay, so this is pretty even across the board. So if you're here again, you're in good company. And then finally, my last question, I promise. What's the real reason why you signed up to come today? What is the real reason you signed up? Is it because you need a better process, more interviews, clarity on what to do next? The search is starting to feel too personal. It's starting to feel like it's not you, it's me. It's not me, it's you, whichever way that's supposed to go. Okay. All right. Well, the good news is that for all of those you who responded, we're going to be able to help you with this process to get more interviews, exactly what to do next. Because you are not at fault here. This is just a tricky process, especially if you are, again, someone with 15, 20, 25 years of experience. Okay, so we have a hand up. The person who has their hand up, if you would like to unmute, oh shoot, gosh, oh shoot, hang on. I'm removing your permission to talk because I didn't realize it was going to show your name on the screen. I'm so sorry. If you have a question, please put it in the chat. Or if you're okay, we can give you permission to talk. Just let us know. I'm so sorry about that. I just exposed that person, I think. Um, so let me know how you'd like to handle that. We'll wait for that response from that person. Okay. Okay. So when you have your question ready, just send it in the chat to Jonathan or I, to the hosts, and we'll take care of it from there. And I apologize there. All right. So let's get back into this framework because you want to know all about the meet and three. Okay. So let's talk about this. This is our find framework. It is the same framework that we use with our clients. We do this for our clients, though. I want you to know that we actually build the search strategy for each client that we have. So we have these four different areas. One is finding things through a job board. Two is inquiring with search firms and recruiters. This is the one that I have found, interestingly, most people don't pursue enough. And it is greatly to your advantage to use recruiters and search firms. And we can talk a little bit about what that looks like. Networking, a lot of people know what that is, but how are they doing it? And then dreaming, keeping that list of companies you'd love to work at. Okay. So this is really a big part of, let's see. This is really a big part of how this search works. And I'm going to upload now a document, I think. Let's see. I'm going to upload this framework so you can have it. So it should have popped up in the chat and you'll see it there as a PDF. You can download that, click it to open it and save it. That's going to give you more detail on that search strategy that we're talking about here. All right. And again, a lot of people only are looking at a couple of the areas. One being finding jobs that are posted, and the second being networking. But the way that people are networking could be a little bit more optimized, a little bit more polished, okay, the way we're doing it. So let me just start my slideshow again. Okay. So I want to talk about this for a moment. It's like, I love weightlifting, and my trainer has me across the course of a week do different parts of my body, right? We've got leg day, arm day, back day, and of course, leg day again. We do the full body, we do cardio, we do HIIT, which I hate, all this kind of stuff so that the full body is getting all of the activity and the exercise together. And I want you to think again, like if the meet and three isn't your thing, if working out is your thing, like think of it that way. We've got leg day, we've got arm day, back day, whole body day, all right, or stretch day. Okay. We don't get a rest day, no rest days. All right. So Find is when you're looking at job boards. And with the find, I want to say this that um, it's what will I do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Let me stop. Hang on. Let me stop sharing. Um, and let me go over to Google. I love me a Google. What is it doing? Hang on one second. We're just going to Google. All right. And I want to show you a job search method. If you don't know, if you know this already, cool, go get a drink of water and come back in a minute. If you don't know this, I want you to try this in the future. What the heck is going on here? What I don't know what's happening. Okay, there we go. Of course, this is happening when I'm doing my webinar, of course. So I want you to come out here and I want you to think about the job you're looking for. Okay, so you're going to type in something like jobs, city of Minneapolis, and we're going to put in healthcare executive director. Okay. So I want you to see up here, it's got our AI mode, all jobs, news, forms. So if you were just looking on here, you would get a little bit of information. But if you actually go to this tab that says jobs, you're going to find more. Okay. And am I sharing this? I hope I am. Jonathan, I think I'm sharing it. I can't see what I'm doing right now. But I want you to see that you get more filters, right? Like remote, no degree, date posted, job type. So you can filter in here and you can choose your different areas. You can click into some of these places, and it'll probably give you a little bit more up-to-date information, because what's happening on Google is it's aggregating jobs from across many platforms, not just LinkedIn, not just Indeed. Okay. So it's aggregating a lot of different postings over time. So go to Google for your search. You can set up a Google notification for your search as well while you're in there. So give that a try and see if that helps you find additional roles than you were seeing just online. Okay. So that's a find feature that we have discovered to be really helpful for our clients that they weren't using before. So using Google to do the finding. Now, the next thing is search firms and building relationships with recruiters. So I don't know how many of you've worked with a recruiter before, but let me just share with you that we've had a number of recruiters on our undeniable sessions in the past. And so you can go to our YouTube channel and we've asked them all the questions about like, what's it like? How should I behave? How do I follow up with you? And so we've heard directly from recruiters, they want you to follow up, but don't ask them for a job. It is not their job to find you a job. They are paid. Remember that they are paid when they are paid by the company when they find a good candidate. So what they are incented to do is find a good candidate. So be that good candidate. When we're working with our clients, we give our clients scripts to use when talking to recruiters. We do research and we find boutique recruiting firms across the country that might be looking for people in their area of expertise. We look at the big search firms like Korn Ferry, or we look at, Verseek, so many different large firms, but there are a lot of smaller specialized recruiting firms. And what you want to do is start developing a relationship with them. And so reaching out to recruiters looks like a couple of different ways. One, some of the bigger places will have like a portal where you will upload your information and select different job titles and functions and industries or sectors. Okay. Like you do when you're applying to a job, but it would be applying to get into their list as a candidate. Okay. Other recruiting firms don't have that type of platform you need to log into, and they just request that you get in touch with them and share your resume. So there's different ways it works. There's not one way. One thing I do recommend is reaching out to recruiters on LinkedIn, or if you can figure out their email address, reach out to them, let them know you're interested in meeting with them, not for any specific role, even though you might see it right in that moment, but just start the conversation. And once they reply, you can say, yes, I saw this specific role. And this is where I think I would be a really good fit, for example, for this type of role. So you definitely want to get in front of recruiters, start that relationship with them before you need them. That's a really smart way to approach working with recruiters, because I think many people hear about the hidden job market, but what that means is that companies don't post all the roles. And especially if you want to work with a smaller company, it can cost a lot of money to post a role on LinkedIn or Indeed, right? And so they might just post it only on their own website, okay? Or they might be using a search firm, especially if you're in a more senior role, they might be using a search firm to look for their next candidate. And you want to get your opportunities with those by getting in touch and keeping a relationship with search firms in your area of expertise. So if you have any specific questions on how to do that, please put them in the chat here or follow up with us. We'd be happy to share with you what we have learned works and doesn't work when working and talking to recruiters. It's a really important way to develop your search strategy. And if you don't have that, you're really at a disadvantage. Okay. It's like you're skipping leg day or something, or you don't get to have mac and cheese, which we all know is the best part of a meat and three. Okay. So now a lot of people know that we're supposed to network with others, but what people don't realize is, or where they realize that they just lack confidence or clarity about how to go about networking. So if anyone's an awkward networker, put your say hi in the chat. Welcome to the party. Okay. Let us know if networking is hard for you. And maybe specifically what is hard for you about it, because we know that it's not easy for everybody. So if you've got any questions on that, let us know. Okay. So with networking, we want to build a relationship. We don't want it to be transactional. Like, think about it when someone comes to you and the only time they come to you is to ask you for a really big lift, which is, hey, can you recommend me for this job? And you haven't seen them in 10 years. You remember working with them. But like, your reputation's on the line, and now someone's asking you to recommend them for a job that they saw at your company. That's tricky. Not everyone has that trust in us that we would want them to have. And some people really prefer not to be gamed, not to be like just asked for things. So building that relationship with people over time and keeping your network alive as you are in your jobs. Always be looking for your next job. Okay. And I don't mean that from an anxiety standpoint. I just mean the way things work now. You're never secure. Okay. So it's not like my parents' generation. My parents are literal boomers. Okay. And they worked at the same company 30 years and were very proud of that, and felt ashamed if they changed companies, that it was their fault or something, right? Here's the deal. That is, the world is not like that anymore. And at any moment you can land a new job, and then all of a sudden M&A happens and the new acquisition decides that they want to eliminate your entire business line. That happens all the time. So once you start going with networking, keep it going. And we've got tools that we give our clients how to ask for their advice, how to approach the conversations in different contexts. And then we also provide specific advice to people in their searches so that we can help them in their networking. It shouldn't be this hard. It's more relational than a lot of people think. A lot of people treat it transactionally, and that's where it gets weird and awkward because, yeah, being transactional is weird and awkward. Like, nobody wants that. All right. Looks like we've got a couple questions that have come in, and I just want to go through these. Where do I go? Hang on, you guys. Where am I? I think if I do this, I will get out of here. Okay, here I am. I'm back. Okay, so it looks like we have a question. I uploaded a CV and a bio to a recruitment firm portal, but never heard back. Advice on how to approach. I now know I should look for who the recruiters are, but should I do something else? Call the company, resubmit through the portal, other. Okay, very good. So you found some recruiting firms, you've added yourself to the portal. Here's what I want you to do. I don't know if you have a puppy, a niece and nephew, a child, somebody you would fight tooth and nail for whatever that might be that like that person wants. And I want you to imagine that your job search is like your niece or nephew who you love dearly, your child, your doggy, or your kitty. Okay. What kind of energy would you put into making sure those people or your animals get seen and get taken care of and get the answers they need? Put that energy into your search. All right. So if you uploaded your CV and a bio and never heard back, start reaching out to people. I would say emailing is probably best. A lot of people today are like allergic to phone calls, so I wouldn't really make a phone call. I would not really resubmit through the portal. I would look on LinkedIn and see if I can find some of the recruiters in my area of focus or in my specialty area and see if I can send them some messages on LinkedIn. Sometimes people have their email addresses on their LinkedIn profiles if you look in contact information. And so you can attempt to email them there. And you can be just human, share, hey, I was really delighted to find your firm. I think that what you guys are doing is something that really matches my area of expertise. And I would love to understand more about what types of roles you are placing for currently. Okay. And so just talking, reaching out. And then one of the recruiters we had on here about 6 months ago, she said, please, if there's a change, like if you're having interviews or you updated your materials, send them to her. Let her know because she wants to keep you top of mind and not. And my advice to you about anything in your search is don't be dusty. Okay. Recruiters are allergic to dust. So if your LinkedIn profile looks dusty, and by that I mean, oh, I think you know what I mean, like out of date photo, doesn't have a background picture, you haven't customized your URL, it's incomplete, it's kind of a turnoff. So you want to make sure that your materials are up to date, that you are following good practices from 2026, not 2016. And so if you need more information on how to do that, that's, book a resume review call with us and we'll show you what we would advise. But to the person who asked that question, if you never heard back from the recruitment firm, just keep going. Just assume that they were busy and just be professional and follow up with them again in a different manner with the energy that you might use with your children, your niece or nephew, or your favorite puppy or kitty cat. Okay. Okay, we had another question come in that says networking is hard because even when you try to make it seem like you're not asking for something, they know you're asking for something. And I know they know we're asking for something, and it's hard to make it not transactional. Thank you for saying this. It is true that typically when someone reaches out, we're asking for something. All right. I recently reached out to one of my college roommates to talk to her about this memory I had about something. And I hadn't talked to her in forever. And I guess she had told her husband that, like, oh my gosh, my old college roommate reached out to me and I haven't heard from her in a really long time. And I wonder what she wants. And her husband was saying, like, she probably wants to sell you something. And I'm like, well, thanks for saying that. And I understand that it can seem like that, but I opened the conversation and we had a good laugh about it, that it's not like that. Okay. And I was, recalling a memory and wanted to relive the moment, the memory with her because it was hilarious. Right. So when we're networking, it can be awkward because people know this is a professional exchange. But the thing to do is when you're talking about your role or your search with someone, be curious about them. Okay. I think the key thing here is don't make it one-sided. And that's where networking can be really awful and awkward. Okay. When you're like, hey, let me tell you all about my search and what happened and how I got laid off and now how this is all terrible and how you can help me. Make it about them. Ask them about what they love about their work right now. Ask them what they're seeing in the market or the area. Ask them how they're doing with their work. If they would stay at their company or change companies, just ask them for their advice and then call them back. That's just call one. Okay. So reach out again and say, hey, since we last talked, I saw this and this, and I would love your advice on this position, or I see you know this person. Would you be open to introducing me? And at the end of these conversations, not that there's an end necessarily, but if you wanted to tie up and make sure that you're keeping that going, always offer in return something. Say, what can I do for you? Who in my network can I introduce you to? Where do you need help in your role? Are you looking for any vendors I can help you source? So be helpful to them, make sure it's not one-sided, and that's a really great way to network. All right. So I don't see any other questions here right now. So if you've got any more, just jump on in here. I want to get over to an actual example that I have for a client, a fake client. Um, and this is Lois Lane. She is looking for a job in healthcare. It might be vice president or executive director in population health. She'd like to work for a health plan or a payer or an ACO value-based care provider. She's open to consulting, healthcare enablers, and population and healthcare transformation. So if you don't have a target lane yet, that is something for you to get really clear on. What are you looking for first? And then from there, what is your rhythm? So typically, we are working with people who are in role. Sometimes we're working with people who have been laid off and have more time. And so what we'll do is we'll create a strategy that is up to 20 hours. I disagree that looking for a job is a full-time job. And if you're doing that, and if that is your mindset and approach, please take care of yourself and give yourself a break because that is too much and that you don't need that. Remember, we're just trying to get 2 more interviews a month. Okay. So we would create a 20-hour strategy for someone. And you don't have to go beyond this. This will generate the amount of interviews you are looking for. Of course, if your materials are in good shape, your LinkedIn is not dusty, and you've got a good, clear grasp on what you're targeting for your role. So we created a strategy for a client where we wanted her to look at roles that were out there in the world, apply selectively. All right. We wanted her to spend about 45 minutes within a week identifying recruiters and sending notes to them. 90 minutes networking. Okay. 45 minutes looking at dream jobs, dream companies, and mapping warm paths in. What that means is seeing, do I know someone who knows someone at that company? Okay. And then making sure you're spending a little bit of time tracking what you do. Okay. So this is an example, very high level of what a search strategy would look like for a client. You really want to get very clean on where you want to work next, what kind of company, what types of environments or cultures that company might have, and how do you screen for those things and all of that. Okay. And then we've got this 5 hour rhythm here. And let me go over to, I want to give you now a document. Um, let's see now. Hold on one second. I'm going to upload something that I believe I recently changed. Yeah, this should be it. Okay, I've uploaded now. Jonathan, can you check that that's the right one? So just go ahead and upload it. If it's not the right one, you can absolutely go ahead and send the other one, John, if that's not the right one. But if you open that up, basically what I've shared there is what this strategy could look like. So I want to walk you through this. So let me grab back over into my Zoom. I'm going to share my screen over here. Okay. And so you all have this now, and this is an exact replica of what we work on with our clients. Okay. But we actually write this for our clients. Depending on the package that they buy, we will go through and create this for you. Okay. Um, and you can see this was, one where we were looking at what the job titles are that the person's looking for, what kinds of organizations they want to work at. So if you wanted to take this, this one was when I had first been working on it, it was for Lois Lane. And so we had healthcare and digital health employers was one of the places where she was looking, right? And so you'll see that in here, but you would write this for you. Okay. So in finding, you want to find the kinds of organizations that are hiring for your type of role. You want to do a little bit of research to understand what is realistic based on your background. You want to look at what language keeps appearing across the roles that you're looking for. Okay. And a way to do this is to use ChatGPT, for example, or Claude AI or Perplexity to say, hey, go grab 3 live job postings for X job. Let's call it executive director healthcare. And tell me, what are the 10 competencies that these job postings have in common? And so it's going to then give you the language that keeps appearing across those types of roles. And so you can see where your story fits the strongest and where you should increase more of your focus or not, right? Just based on the types of competencies, et cetera, that you're seeing out there. So it might be that you're using Google to do your search. You might like Indeed or LinkedIn. You may have other preferences that you like to use for your search. I know there are sometimes industry related search firms that have really robust pages that are specific to your industry or sector. So definitely put in the titles you're looking for yourself, and then put in the types of organizations you're looking for. Okay. And you'll want to keep a note on why these things are really good roles for yourself. When we look into INQUIRE, again, this is going to be the search firms. Okay. We want you to do some research and build a list of recruiters who place talent in these areas. And when you reach out, you want to be clear about what you're great at, where you're going to be a good fit, what problems you can solve. One of the things, this was interesting this week, I was helping a couple people with interview preparation. And they asked, how can I show up in this interview? How can I show up in this interview in the most effective way? And I said, follow the money. How does the company make money? Okay. And then if you can relate the support you're going to provide or the impact you're going to make to how the company makes money or mitigates risk, you are going to be in a very good place for people to look at you strategically. So even if your job perhaps is not directly related to cash flow, it is at least indirectly related to cash flow. And so if you can talk about that in how you're talking to recruiters, how you're talking with anyone in your network, how you're talking in interviews, definitely make sure that you're emphasizing how you know how the company makes money or mitigates risk in the world and how you would contribute in that area. All right. So that's a really good point to think about when you would be reaching out to a recruiter. So, for example, hey, I am really great at ensuring that operations are automated so that we can save time and therefore choose to use our capital in other ways. Okay. So reaching out to contacts within your recruiting network. Here's a type of list of people to network with and then how to do this, the kind of roles they're exploring, companies that interest you, let them know these things. Okay. This is really important. Every serious application that you do, pair it with 2 to 3 people. Again, that meet in 3. Okay. This is how you reduce the odds of disappearing into volume. Okay. And so that first question we had from a person on the call today about how do I know what the right percentage is on getting responses? Well, the more action you do, the more likely you are to get a response. Okay. You can also use this now to write down the companies that you would like to target. And then write down what you prefer to have at a company. Some people want to work at a Fortune 500. Some people want to work up at a startup. Some people want to work in a university healthcare system. I mean, there's all sorts of different ways. Some people want to work in entertainment, or they want to work in at NASA, in science. So putting some of those reminders in here for you, and then a list of target organizations. This should really help you plan out your week in a way that gives you clear strategy. You're not spraying and praying. We're not just reaching out to everybody and anybody to find a job in a panic, because nobody needs that drama. So, like, imagine if that drama was coming your way and you were receiving that drama from someone, you'd probably be like, whoa, take a lap first and then let's talk. Okay. So we had another question come in and we are getting toward the end here. So if anyone has questions that they want to ask us, we're going to get ready to do that now. But I see a question came in that, would you go to an interview just for practice, even if it's not your dream role or company? My answer, hell's yes. And the reason why is because you never know. You never know. And sometimes what's happened is I've had clients go to the interview, and then one of the people on the team is like, oh, she's like kind of overqualified for this thing. Let's ask her about this thing that we know, Jennifer's getting ready to hire for over here. Oh, yeah, let's talk to her about that role Jennifer's going to post, right? And so absolutely go to the interview. You never know what could come of it. So please do just interview. Absolutely. Okay. So happy to take your questions. I'll keep going until we get more questions. And I definitely want to talk about like what you're doing between when you apply and when you get the interview. Okay, so if you are applying selectively, great. And that means with recruiting firms too. Okay, reach out and message the people, ask for an informational interview if you want to, and then track and follow up. Now, we never know. Here's what happens. Like, all the people on this call here, you've probably been in situations where a budget was closed or like a freeze went on for all hiring, or so stuff happens that's beyond our control in some of these processes. And just stay professional, and don't be the drama in someone's life that they don't need. Okay. So track and follow up, but know that sometimes people just are not going to be professional on their end. What we can do is always show up with professionalism. And again, like that energy that we would use to get our kid or our cat or our niece or nephew or our cousin what they need in life. Take that energy for them and be professional. So we have a bunch of tools that we give our clients when they're working with us. We give them scripts for outreach. We give our clients a full informational interview guide, how to have those low pressure conversations. We give our clients a document on how to turn, hey, it was great to talk to you, into a clear next step. So if you've kind of got these lingering conversations going and you haven't had closure on them, how do you do that? And so we give our clients that information. And then we also give our clients a job search tracker. So essentially a spreadsheet type of tool where they can keep track of everything that they're working on. So that's what we like to do. So we are ready for your questions. I put some up here that some people might have, but I want to take your questions now. I want to understand what challenges you're running into and how we might be able to help you resolve that. So this is your time to ask your question. Again, you are anonymous, and we won't share your name. You can just ask away on any questions that you have. All right, I'll stop sharing here now just so I can see any questions. All right, I don't see anything coming in. Okay. Well, if you have no questions on the job search and how to go about this for yourself, try those tools out. Let us know if they work. Let us know if you have questions on them. We're happy to help. And if any of you are looking for support with understanding how your resume or your LinkedIn is performing, please do book a call with us, and we'll walk you through what we see and leave you with some advice that can be helpful for you. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining today, everyone, and take care. And we wish you the greatest success in your search. Bye-bye.